Here at Wyopreps.com for the 2023-24 school year, we present our Athlete of the Year honors, and they're brought to you by our great friends at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Wyoming in partnership with our friends at Wyld Gear. And it's my pleasure to announce this year's Athlete of the Year, the first ever for Wyopreps.com. For softball is Natalie Clonch from Thunder Basin, the state champion Bolts. Won another title this year, and a large reason why was Natalie. The senior hit .639 for the season at 53 hits, which included 12 doubles, 6 triples, and 11 home runs. She actually capped the state championship game with her 11th home run. And then she drove in 51 runs, scored 56, 10 walks, only 6 strikeouts the entire year, 21 stolen bases. Natalie, congratulations. You're our Athlete of the Year. What does that kind of bring across your mind as you hear that?
Thank you. Well, that's all, like a really nice honor to have. I think it just kind of goes to show all the hard work that I put in during the off season and during the season. But I really have to thank my team to just allow me to play at the level that I did play at the past season, and just to always have my back. And maybe when I wasn't playing to the best of my ability, they were able to back me up. So I have to thank them, and definitely my coaches too.
Talk a little bit about your season. You've had a little bit of time to reflect on it. Obviously it ended in a great way. It had maybe a few ups and downs, but you got off to a great start, because I remember talking to you after that opening weekend when you hit 1,000 for the weekend. Did that just kind of create some momentum in a positive direction for you?
So after taking my junior year off, I was really nervous going into my senior season, just not exactly knowing what the other competition was going to be like, how I was going to play, just because I took a whole year off. But coming after that weekend, batting 1,000 and just having a really great weekend at bat, it really made me not as nervous for this season, and just kind of allowed me to be able to play and just be like, oh, okay, I'm fine. I stepped right back into it. I knew I would, and a lot of people knew I would. So
I want to talk to you a little bit more about your catching duties. This was a younger pitching staff, Thunder Basin. It had some great pitchers that have led them to a couple state championships, but this was kind of a new staff. Was that a little different for you? And how was it kind of dealing with a little bit more inexperienced pitching staff in the circle this year?
So I had previously caught for Paige Schaefer, who started every game at state. So it was no different catching for her, this
Okay.
past year, because I had caught for her before. And it's the same with Fallon. I played with Fallon Wilkerson ever since 10U. So again, I just kind of know they're very different pitchers in different ways, different movement, different speed, spins, stuff like that. So it was just being able to make sure that I adjusted to each one and knew their strengths and play to that.
Do you kind of go into a game with some sort of game plan with them? Obviously, I think the coaches probably talk with you about that, but it just seemed like whoever you were catching, you were always on the same page. And I think that gives a pitcher a lot of confidence. And I'm going to give you a compliment here, because when they know that they've kind of got a backstop, they can throw pretty much anything. So what was that conversation like with you and Paige, or you and Fallon?
So Ben Partlow was the one that would call a majority of the pitches, but every now and then our pitchers would get into a bit of a funk where maybe a certain pitch wasn't working, or they just weren't completely confident throwing that pitch against certain hitters. And that's where I was kind of able to delegate and step in and say, hey, don't call this pitch anymore. It's not breaking, it's not moving. So just being able to be aware of the game and just recognize maybe when a pitcher shouldn't be pitching a certain pitch, that definitely, I think, was a game changer.
Obviously, a large part of this award is the team success. And I remember talking with you after the state championship. You guys captained in a big way. Talk a little bit about thinking back to winning that title and what it kind of meant to the team this year to get on a little bit of a roll right there at the end of the season.
So at the very end of the season before state, I think, was it Campbell County handed us a loss. And that was obviously a tough loss, being crosstown rivals. And I think going into state, it really gave us that momentum. And, we went in as second seed. So it was kind of okay, we're not number one. We don't have anything to completely prove ourselves with. So we just need to go in and make sure that we have a lot of momentum. And I think we totally did that. We had a lot of energy throughout the whole game. Everybody finally something clicked within the team where like 1 through 9, everybody was hitting. Our defense was super clean. Like everybody was just really in it to win it. So that was a really great finishing end.
What do you attribute your offensive success to? I mean, I'll be honest, 1 through 9, your lineup was pretty potent. And did that make it difficult to kind of pitch around some of you girls and you in particular, which maybe led to some better numbers?
Yeah, I would say we had a really great offensive team. Really at the very end of the season, 1 through 9 was hitting. And I think that as a coach, it makes it really hard to even create a lineup. So just knowing that, like I was able to be like a important part of the lineup, it kind of sometimes was pretty heavy on my shoulders. Like I wanted to make sure that I was producing and making sure that I was coming in clutch when I needed to. And I definitely had some great moments throughout the season because of that.
Well, with that, you are, as I mentioned, our first ever Wyopreps.com Athlete of the Year presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield. I don't have a typical plaque for you. It is in a water bottle from our friends at Wyld Gear. It's got a non-skid base. This is laser engraved, so it's not going to wipe off anytime soon. It's got a magnetic cap to it so that you don't lose a cap. I know not everybody's a fan of a cap, but this award is yours. And I just want to say again, congratulations on being our softball Athlete of the Year.
Thank you.